Hey Jibo, set a timer for 30 minutes, please.
You got it. 30 minutes.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish stage 6 and just do a video of that. Sorry, stage 5. It's gonna be short, and then do a video of that, and then do stage 6 in a separate video that hopefully is only 30 minutes. If this last part of stage 5 takes me 30 minutes, then I don't know. So I put the 3 ones that I have in here for the various instruction manuals. So we are on pack 2 still, stage 5. We did before then the head, part of one of the ears. This is the part that we were working on last, and all we're going to do is put the back on, basically. So I've got the back here, and it says attaching the back. Inspect the neck stand's back. There's a rectangular cutaway in the top left corner. You can see the cutaway there. Lay the neck stand assembly face down on your work surface, then holding the servo cable so that it protrudes through the rectangular cutaway, and close the neck stand by fitting the back as shown. So basically I need to do it this way onto it, and then make sure that this goes through. So there we go. Alright, and then I've got the correct and complete the neck stand, tighten 4 M2 by 4.5 millimeter countersunk screws into the hole circled in the photo above right. And then the stage will be complete, and then the next stage is when you'll add the battery pack for Robi servos. So I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to make sure that I, again, put this on right, because we want this to protrude through that hole. There we go. These are the screws as far as I'm aware. I'm doing this video a few weeks later than I did the initial one for stage 5, 4 and 5, because I ran out of light then. I didn't want to do it in, with a bunch of non-natural light. I prefer natural light for these videos if possible. And I'd already spent like over 2 hours doing those videos at the time, because it took me a while to do these assembly. So I believe these are the correct screws. And this was on the top of the motor housing that's here. And I don't know if I need it later, but I kept it in case I do. So we'll throw this down, and then we're going to just put these 4 screws in, and it should not take me that long, other than the fact that they're tiny. And I'm going to take my eyeglasses off, because these screws, unlike I did Zoomy recently assembly, and those screws are okay. So the screw fell into it somehow. You've got to be kidding me. It's like, all right, at least it didn't fall on the floor. Plus we have an extra one, because DeAgostini is very good about giving extra screws, which I greatly appreciate. But Zoomy, the screws were bigger, so I was able to keep my glasses on without having to go back and forth doing that. Okay. Let's see if we can just get them into the hole and do it. I probably should have done stage 6 with stage 5. I'm seeing now that this is going to be super short, but it's been a long day, so I wasn't thinking properly on it. I just wanted to get stage 5 set up because it's been so many weeks since I did this one. It doesn't seem to me like these are the right screws, because I'm putting them into the wrong holes. Well, that would explain a lot. It's got to be the smaller holes. Let me look at the magazine again. I 'Cause, 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 ' Yeah, it's not the protruding holes. It's the smaller holes down, you know, here, 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 not these up here. That can be easily corrected. So, I'm not certain it'll be easier to get them in, but it definitely is easy to correct that I put one of them into the wrong hole. But yeah, putting the robots together, you think I'd be getting better at it, but I'm not necessarily getting better at it. Maybe someday. You know, I have a, you know, a long time left with Robi putting him together, so eventually I'll either get better at it or I'll just you know, flail along like typical. My eyesight certainly isn't going to get better in the process. Okay, I'm putting his chest down a little bit too hard. Don't mean to be knocking him around like that. Okay. So I am going to read ahead I had read ahead previously, but that was multiple weeks ago, like maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I can't even remember now. When I did the others videos. So I'm going to, on this video, since we have the time, since it's not going to take that long, since now stage 5 is complete, I should have just done it the other time and completed it. I'm going to look at stage 6 and see what we need. We're going to need a battery pack, a servo cable, double-sided adhesive pads, and panhead screws, and then batteries. And I did get the batteries. You know, got little Robi Junior here, and I've got mini Robi there. So yeah, so this is what we'll need. Let me go ahead and assemble that. Put my glasses back on too. And I'm not gonna need his head. I'm gonna need this section though. I'm gonna need the test board from stage 3. And then, okay, let me get those parts. And then we'll try to see how much we can get done before our timer comes up. So, it's the test board. The battery pack. Looks like that's this. Looks like it's these parts here. Yeah, I think it's all here. I've got tweezers just in case, because I'm not a big believer in not having them, because the other day I needed them and then I had to go find them. So it says, in this assembly, you will attach the test board and battery pack to the neck stand assembled in previous stages before connecting and testing the first of Robi's servos. By the end of this stage, you will see the first of Robi's moving parts in action when you test the rotational movement of the servo that will turn his head. The work is not difficult, but be very careful when handling the electronic parts, as the exposed components are delicate and easily damaged. You will also need 4 AA batteries for the battery pack. And these are the 4 AA batteries, Amazon ones. So I'm going to sit back down here and try to get it done. I'm going to move this screw over just to keep extras. I've been keeping multiple extra ones. These, I believe, are the components. This month I didn't get, this is September now, I didn't get any box. I'm going to call DeAgostini tomorrow because I think they might have sent me months 2 and 3 boxes together, because I definitely seem to have a lot of stages for a single month. So we will see. Oh, don't want to do what I did the other time where I lost something because I didn't, you know, take it out of what I needed. So there's a little part there that I didn't take out here. So it looks like This is the servo cable, and then the battery pack is here. It's not just the battery pack, it's also I'll try to put the plastic over here. In one of my videos I put it behind me and apparently scared someone. So, not trying to do that for sure. So this is the battery pack, double-sided adhesive pads are these, and then the screws. Okay, and then I won't need any of these parts. I need this, and I need this. Okay, so now let's get to doing the assembly. This is, if you want to read ahead and can see it, what we will be doing for the first part. So the test board, tip. Always handle the test board by holding the sides, making sure not to touch any of the components on its surface. Carefully remove the test board from its plastic bag. Do not touch any of the electronic components. Holding the part as shown with the word down at bottom right as arrowed, fit the board onto the back of the neck stand, lining up the 4 circled cable holes. Ensure that the servo cable, arrowed, is not trapped under the board. Insert the 6 mm pan-headed screws into the 4 corner holes and gently tighten them. Okay. So I'm going to actually put it on the floor. It's more convenient for me to have it on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. Wish me luck. Hey Jibo, how long do I have on my timer?
17 minutes and 54 seconds left.
Okay, so it might be possible to do some of this. Okay, so it does clearly say down on the back of this. So that is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to line it up and not have the cable. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to gently put it here. Take the screws out because I haven't done that yet. Okay, get the 4 screws that I need. And take them out. I hope I didn't need another screw, but I actually have plenty of other screws over here, and I'm pretty certain some are the correct size. So, and it does say just 5 screws, so I didn't lose a screw or anything. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, so where it says down, trying to not damage the board. This is going to be challenging because I can only touch it on the sides, or ideally that's what they want me to do. I feel like once I get maybe the corners of the corner ones done that are around it, because I'm worried I'm gonna hurt it. Maybe once I get I'm gonna try to do opposite corners, and maybe when I've done that, it might be okay because it should be lined up then. For the other 2. I think I got it in it. Yeah. So this is good because what's happened, sorry that I was doing it that close, but I instead of showing it here like it should be, I don't want to didn't want to hurt it, and so I got those two in, and now I'm doing what I'm supposed to, which is actually being at the table to where you can see it instead of me doing the typical job I am. Like, if I only had a camera person, you know, they could tell me, or stop it and be like, hey, go where go where they can see you. All right. Although it's, some of this is so tiny. In some ways, this is such a long process. But I am enjoying doing it because I'm getting to learn how these robots are put together. I got to do that quite a while ago with Cooper's. I need to update him and use him more. I at the time didn't have my own screwdriver, and I couldn't get one of his wheels on properly. So it kept coming off. His traction did. I just didn't do very many videos with him. Like, other than he was at Jibo's wedding, and then he had his own video, and that was pretty much it. Anyway, so I managed to get those 4 screws on. So let's see next now what we're gonna do. Take out the screw holding the cover of the battery pack in place and slide the cover off. Make sure the power switch is set to off. Fit 4 AA batteries in the pack with their positive and negative ends positioned as shown, then replace the cover. So we're doing this part right here. So that's relatively straightforward. But yeah, Cooper's is unlike the other robots, actually has, I think it's 4 forms, 5 forms, maybe 6 forms, I can't recall. He had extra parts because you can put him into multiple forms. So that was one of the reasons I got him, and he was actually pretty decently priced. So like I said, I just need to use him more, just like I need to use my Mechamon. I didn't put Mechamon together, but I just need to use Mechamon more. Okay, so let's see, where's the screw? So we undo this one screw. It's nice all the screws just use this one screwdriver. You know, not having to have a bunch of different screwdrivers. Okay, so we'll slide it open. Put them in according to what they say. So this is relatively simple. These, I'm used to. Battery packs, stuff like that. And then, so replace the cover. Surprised they're not telling me to put the battery back in. I mean, to put the screw back in. Peel the 4 double-sided pads off their backing. Stick them under the neck stand as shown, being sure not to cover the 2 holes at the front. Peel the white protective backing off of the 4 adhesive pads. Then align the battery pack with the cable pointing towards the circuit board and the screw facing you. With the battery pack in line with the ridge running along the front of the neck stand, see dotted red line, press it firmly into place, and then that's how it should look. Okay, so the battery is going to go under, and so I'll show the picture of what we're doing. It's this stuff up here, not that part. So we don't need this anymore. These are the adhesive pads. I mean, I see them. So I put 2 there. Okay. I think I don't want it exactly on the edge. Probably need a problem of taking it off though. It's not a good idea. I don't think I want them to see forward basically from the front. So we're gonna put them there. Don't cover the holes. That's the gist of it. Don't cover the holes. Because there are some holes here that you shouldn't be covering. Because you're going to screw them in. Screw screws into them, that is. Does look like they want it against the line. So, okay. Hey Jibo, how many minutes are left on my timer?
It'll be done in 8 minutes and 23 seconds.
Okay, so I'm not certain how much more time it's going to take me to do the rest of this, but I guess we will see. Okay, so peel the backings off. Some down here. I need to get a little garbage portable garbage can. All I have are the larger ones to put this stuff in. Because, here's how it looks, but I have to take the backings off so then I can put the battery pack on. I forgot to make sure it was in the off position, so that was unfortunate. Thankfully it was. But just like Zumi, which I put her together earlier, I needed to make sure hers was in the off position. But they didn't have a nice little handy on-off thing like this one does. So, okay. Alright. Peel the protected backing off. Align the battery pack with the cable pointing towards the circuit board. And the screw facing you. Okay, well there's no screw in there. They didn't tell me to re-screw it, so I don't know on that one. Anyway. Okay, put the battery pack in line with the ridge running along the front of the neck stand. The front of the neck stand. I'm trying to see. Looking at the dotted line. Okay. I think I've got it. I think I've got it. I'm hoping. No, I think I put it too far. Sorry. I think it's got to be like that. Yeah. Okay, I think the ridge they mean, I actually put this too far. I think it's this ridge. So now I'm going to finally press it. Okay, it, and then the cover comes off. But anyway, I think I've got it on there good. Okay, so this is how it looks. It's basically, there was a ridge of plastic, and this is how it looks now. So I think that this is an extra screw. I guess I'll leave it there for a second just in case it isn't. The test board. Familiarize yourself with the connectors and switches on the test board. There are two connection points. The one to the left is the servo connector, and the other larger one is the power connector. At the bottom is the test set switch. Okay, I see. Plug the loose servo cable, which is this, into the servo connector and press gently on the protective pad on top of this in the same way you did when connecting to the servo itself. Then push the cable from the battery pack into the power connector. So, oh darn, I almost knocked over my little Robi Jr. That would not be good. No, we would not be happy with that. Okay, so this is this servo connector. This is the power connector. So this I need to put in. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. And I already a long time ago, I think the last time, put the little bitty thing that it needed on it. Okay. And then this one, the power connector, making sure I'm putting it in the right way. I think it might go in this way. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I got them connected. Okay. So then we have here, push the switch on the battery box to on. All the LEDs on the test board should flash twice, then the one under the number 1 should remain lit. If the LEDs do not light up, check that the power cable is connected properly. Additionally, if any one of the batteries is aligned the wrong way within the pack, it will cause the test to fail. Press the test set switch briefly to run the servo test. The shaft at the top of the servo casing should rotate 45 degrees to the left, stop, then move back across to 45 degrees to the right. After you have run the test, turn off the power switch on the battery pack. If the LEDs flash rapidly, you have a faulty connection. Double check the servo cable's connection at the test board, turning the power off before you do. If the light still flashes, carefully unscrew the servo housing and check that the internal connector plug is in place. If you press the wrong button, reset the board by holding down the test set switch for several seconds. Be careful if you have to remove the servo to check the connection. Disconnect it from the test board with extreme care by pulling the servo cable very gently and directly upwards away from its connector. Okay, so a lot of steps there. So this is basically assembled. I'm just testing the connection. Really hope that I did everything right. So I'm going to push the battery box to on, and all the LEDs should light up. Okay, so on, that is done where? Okay, it's right here. So I'm going to put it on. All the LEDs lit up. So that's good. And then it changed to 1, like it said it would. So that's also good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Okay, press the test set switch briefly to run the servo test. The shaft at the top of the servo casing should rotate. So I think, okay. It should stop and then move back. Okay, so I'm just going to do the test.
This is your timer going off.
Hey Jibo, stop. So this is what should be rotating, but it didn't, and that's very unfortunate. That means that I have a faulty connection. Because they're flashing. So I'm gonna have to check the connections, and that's really unfortunate. I mean, this connection's obviously correct. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I thought, what do we need this one part for? Okay, well, I'm gonna stop it and try to troubleshoot it. I really hope, I don't know what I did wrong, but obviously I did something wrong for the servo connectors during a prior part of the setup, not this setup, not this specific setup. All right, well, it's been 30 minutes. Wish me luck in figuring out what I did wrong.